So, good morning, folks. It seems like Japan and a bunch of politicians in the nuclear industry got together and made a study saying that there will be zero genetic harm to Japan's population from the Fukushima disaster. The Fukushima release of three active reactors into the atmosphere around Fukushima. So their claim is there won't be any genetic problems. They've already masked anything to do with thyroid problems and made it so hard to deduce and string out whether there is an issue by changing diagnostic rules, by threatening doctors, by putting the fear of loss of income and license on doctors and physicians and even other people that talk about this that are in the profession. So they can't talk. There's contracts, there's financial reasons. Why are you going to risk speaking up when not enough people care? But some will. So, anyway, this study decided that there's zero risk from Fukushima. One of the deceits in the Fukushima conversation is one of those three reactors contained mixed oxide fuels. It was owned by the U.S. Department of Defense, and that reactor was being managed by the U.S. Department of Defense because it was nuclear containing, it was weapons materials containing fuel. MOX fuel contains anywhere from 20 to 40% by volume fuel volume of plutonium. That plutonium was found as buckyballs out in the countryside miles away. That reactor dispersed and released just like the other two reactors did. So there's what happened. A weapons grade material reactor blew up in Fukushima. So besides uranium, people talk about, there are many other fission products released. The release inventory does not show these things. That is criminal. It's a lie. It's deceiving. That MOX fueled reactor made a difference in the components, and it was 1/3 of that release inventory. So that's not good. This industry is very willing to put every family around it at risk. It's a subtle risk. It begins with a 1 in a million chance, and then it becomes 1 in 100,000 chance, and then it becomes 1 in 10,000, and then it becomes a neighborhood. And the challenge is you can find the articles, the materials, the science, the studies that show these effects continuously from radiation, fallout, from nuclear fallout. And again, this is a small part of the pollution we face on the planet, but the impact of this is very unique and very specific, and it is for beyond when humans are, the risk is beyond when humans are expected to be alive on this planet. That's what we're putting out here for our grandchildren. So, no problems, zero harm. So there's two huge things going on this planet. The sale of nuclear reactors with no place to put the waste still. We are going to find a hole somewhere to put it in. It's just going to work out that way if we have time. Or some other natural disaster is going to come point out the follies again, like the typhoons hitting Japan and washing all those bags of dirt somewhere else. And what's interesting, those are more tea bags than they are anything else. They're going to leak and drip. And amazingly, many of these materials are very active, reactive materials. And they're going to get washed down into the soils because that's what we know. That's what we learned about. In Hanford, we learned how quickly these ions will migrate down into the soil through time. But in Fukushima, we learned it's even faster than we had thought. because of the different types of soils involved. Hanford's an alluvial plain with lots of clays and sands. Japan's not quite like that. So where's the science studying this? Where are these brave, proud women, men and women of the nuclear industry out here to protect us? Well, they aren't. They don't give a shit. But on the good side, whatever happens, they can't avoid it either. There is no prepper for this. They don't know what to do. You can see the follies at Fukushima. They can't clean the water. You can see the follies around every nuclear plant. If you go look, the little details, those little outage and down reports and those small leaks. Well, when you mop up a small leak, where does that mop head go? More waste that needs special treatment, special handling. At least the kids will have jobs guarding the nuclear waste. I don't know. I don't know where we're going. Deep ocean mining. Should talk about that. See anything in the news about it? See anything about the year 2020 starting up? See anything about all the nations, especially the nations close to poverty, that are willing to have their oceans, the seas around them, destroyed? And they won't know. They won't see it. They won't have a clue. There's America for you. That's what Newt Gingrich wishes on us. That's what I can't blame the current resident of the Oval Office, because he's a moron. He carries the bag from here to there for somebody else. That's the guy that we chant, lock him up. Yeah, lock them up. Should be an interesting election. We'll see how it goes. It's the Democratic Party's to lose.